This video is about these nice validation drop-down boxes. They are called validation because they allow you to choose only one specific value. You may have used them already, but even if you have, you may not be familiar with this option that you can say, I want only this section to be available. So if I go for product 2, I want those. In order to show you how to do that, I will first show you the basics in case you are not familiar with these validation drop-down boxes. So let's say you have employees here and you want them to be only in departments that are valid according to this list. So no one can put typos in there or non-existing departments. So you can do that for these cells, but then later on when you add new employees it will not be available. So I'm going to do it for the entire column. And I go to Data, Data Validation, Data Validation. At this moment any value goes, that is default of course in Excel. We are going to say from now on I only want lists. Where is your list? Your list is right here. So now when I click on OK, I will see that I get in each cell a drop-down box. So you can only choose whatever is in that list. So if I ever want to choose something that is not in the list, it will be rejected. So, and even if I do typos, it will always reject it. The only thing now is that that title or the header or the label also has that box. So let's turn that off for just that cell. Go back to data validation and say from here I want only any value. So later on that list is also there. It will be all over the place. I'm going to do something similar for the title of these people. But this time I put the titles on a separate sheet, which is probably very attractive. You don't want it on your spreadsheet where you have all your employee information. So if I do that this way, I can do that, but there is a little problem for some of you. In this case I could say I want the list to be from another sheet. And it will give me that sheet name. However, that was not possible in older versions of Excel. So what would those people do? And that could be you. You have to use a range name. You select that range and you type in the name box the name of that list. I call it titles. Don't forget to choose enter. Where are those names, range names? They are under formulas, name manager, and there happens to be titles. I did a few other ones already before, and titles tells me that is on the sheet titles A1 through A6, so you can always change it later on. So even if you don't have the option to go to another sheet when you do data validation, you can still use that name. So I'm going to data validation again, the list, and you type in there equals titles. Don't forget that equal sign, otherwise it takes it as a word, but you want a range. And when I click on OK, you will see that every box has that option coming from another sheet, even if your Excel version didn't allow that. So that works great until you want more specific options. So in this case, I have different products, and all these products have different options for prices. So I use range names. In this case, I call that range product 1. Product 2. You will find them in your list here. When I click on product 2 in the name range, it will say this is called product 2, product 3, etc. So now how do I get that here? Fixed choices. You have to know a few tricks. I'm going to delete what is in there already. I'm going to do that for the entire column. And we are going to do data validation again. And what is the secret this time? We put in there allow from a list. But in my source box, I type equals indirect, that is the function indirect, from that cell or later on that cell. Whenever you do data validation, you do it as if you were in the first box of what you had selected, and it will automatically do that for G2, G3, G4, etc. What does indirect do? It takes the word in G1 and changes that into a range name. So this one is going to look for product 1, which was that range. Okay. And when you click on OK, you may get an error message. Don't worry, just click OK. And from now on, each box here has a specific option. Product 2, 1850, etc. And I can even do that for new boxes, but because there is nothing to the left yet, it won't work there. So if I do cross, then this box is in trouble, of course, for there is no range name product 4. So we should make sure that when you type that list, and I'm going to do that in this column, that that name is correct. So we are going to validate the typing in here. So what I did again, I first used a range name, products. These are the official products that I have to choose from. And we are going to do data validation again. But this time I do a custom option. The custom option allows you to type in there any kind of formulas that you want. So we are going to use in there the formula VLOOKUP. I'm copying it and I'm putting it here so you can see it better. It uses the function VLOOKUP based on L1. Remember, you do it always as if you are in the first cell of your selection, and it will do it for L2, L3. Look it up in the range name product. Okay, that is what VLOOKUP does. And if you don't know how to type all of this, then just try somewhere a VLOOKUP function. Or type it, and it will tell you that it needs the lookup value, the table array, the column index number, and the range lookup. The range lookup may be a riddle for you. You can always find that if you do that through fx. fx gives you much more information. So it says the column index number is 1, to find in that range in the same column, column 1. And the range lookup is either an exact match or not. I use an exact match, which is 0 or false, and I say in my validation, if that is not false, then it's correct. If it does find something, fine. If it doesn't find something, we have trouble. So now I did that for the entire column. So if I would ever type there product 4, which does not exist in my products list, it will say, sorry, I cannot accept that. But product 2 is acceptable. And I did already column M, so now it will give for product 2, it will give me the correct options there. Excel is a great tool, but you need to be familiar with things that you probably have never thought of or have never used. So there are so many options that you may not be familiar with. You want to become a pro in Excel. So I made for you free CD-ROMs, 2 books that bring you more and more into the secrets of Excel. They have helped thousands of people already, and you may be the next one. You can find them at genesispc.com, and it will tell you there what is in those CD-ROMs and what is in those books.